Hello, and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the Algebra 1 concept of writing systems of equations. This is standard A.2I in the great state of Texas, and we are using item number 15 off the 2021 released STAAR test. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and take a moment to pause the video, work this problem out on your own, unpause it, and we will look at our answers together. So we have a customer paying a total of $6 for 68 copies. Some of the copies were black and white, the rest were color, and we've got prices for each. So we're looking for a system of equations. Okay, so what is a system of equations? Well, it's when you've got two or more linear equations that use the same variables. So in this case, each of our equations that we're going to write is going to have B, stands for black and white, and then C, the number of color copies. All right, and if we were to get these two equations and we were to graph them, what we would find is that there would be some overlap somewhere, and that point would be a solution to both of our systems of equations. But we're not going to necessarily graph them. We're just looking for the two equations. And let's take a look at what we have here. We've got a customer paid a total of $6 for 68 copies. But we've got our B and C. Okay? So these, we need to be very careful of what they're actually giving us. So B equals number of copies. C equals number of copies. The only difference is one is color, one is the black and white. But we need to make sure we're paying attention to number of copies, because our very first equation, right, is going to use this exact sentence right here at the very top. But they give us two different things. Paid a total of, okay, so I'm going to get my black and white copies plus colored copies equals, right? So then the full number of black and white copies plus the full number of color copies. But is it going to equal 6 or is it going to equal 68? That's why we have to go back to what the B actually stands for. The B stands for the number of black and white copies. The C stands for the number of color copies. So instead of looking at the money right there, for this very first one, the number of black and white copies and color copies equals 68 copies. And it's very easy to turn that into a 6 if we're not really paying attention. Okay? So that lets me know I'm looking at B and D right now. Okay, now money does get involved, but money gets involved down here. We've got 8 cents for each black and white copy. We've got 15 cents for each color copy. Okay, so let's take our black and white first. Black and white copies. Okay, so if they are 8 cents each, right, so that's going to be my rate, 0.08 times the number of black and white copies I've got, B. Add that to, well, how much is each color copy? 15 cents, 0.15. Multiplied by how many color copies I've got. Okay, so what I'm getting here is I'm getting a cost, because these are all dollars, right? 8 cents, 15 cents times the B or the C, which means now I need that total of $6. So that first sentence actually gave you the sum of both the number of copies and how much it's going to cost. So that's going to equal $6. Now we simplify it, right? We drop the 0.00. We don't use any of our dollar signs here. But you see, we've got our 8.08B and 0.15C equals 6 right here at D.